Bol Bol from Khartoum, Sudan, and the University of Oregon.
I just want to prove everyone wrong and be the best player I can be.
Bol Bol, born November 16, 1999. Basketball is all about advantages. Being a great player means finding slight advantages against opponents off-season by off-season, and even play by play is key to determining what player you become. It's hard to gain those advantages, and for smaller players they can find it even more difficult. So what happened to Bol Bol, one of the tallest players in the NBA, high school All-American, top 5 in his class, and expected to be a top 3 pick going into the college season behind RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson? Bol Bol at this point is as far as can be from his peers and fighting an uphill battle just to stay in the league. He was a second-round pick, now signed to the 5th team in 3 years to own his rights, spent time in the G League, and has dealt with multiple injuries that make his upcoming 22-23 season a huge one for his future. One thing that makes Bol's story interesting is he has the skills it takes to at least be a significant role player in the NBA. At his height, he handles the ball fairly well, has always shot the ball lights out like he did in high school, college at 52%, and in his first 2 seasons in the NBA. In this era of all positions playing more behind the arc, you'd think there's no reason with Bol's skills he can't be a solid rotation 4 or 5 with his advantages. On draft night, he sat in the green room expecting his name to be called in the top 10, but had to leave for a while to avoid the embarrassment of sliding to the late second round. After being drafted, he said, "I just want to prove everyone wrong and come out and be the best player I can be." But since then, his NBA career has gone like this. Drafted late but traded immediately to team number 2, who were already a well-oiled playoff contender. Found it hard to get opportunity in that situation. G League, traded to teams 3 and 4 without playing a game for either, mostly because of his physical fitness and injuries that saw him only play 14 games last season. And lastly, traded to his 5th team, one of the worst teams in the NBA, that he's hoping to latch on with long enough to show that he has what it takes to play in the NBA and is not just there because of his height. The good news is that Bol Bol is still 22 years old, has some experience at the NBA level, and finally has a chip on his shoulder that should wake him up to be the player many, including myself, believe he could be. For right now, here are 3 reasons he's not there yet and what he has to do to make the best of what might be his final opportunity. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. You can also send a super thanks by clicking the button below. Enjoy the video. Bol Bol is a 7'2" center from Sudan that moved to America on peculiar circumstances. His father Manute Bol played in the NBA from the mid-80s to 1996 and later moved back to his home country where Bol was born. In 1998, he was accused of being a spy of all things for America and barred from fleeing to the US. The family's journey took them to Egypt for a few months because they couldn't acquire necessary paperwork to enter the country. When Bol was 2, they were finally able to move to Connecticut as political refugees, where he's been ever since. He began playing at an early age because of his father's love for the sport and because he was already growing on a pace to be bigger than the kids his age. They moved to Kansas and Bol's skills and love for the game blossomed. Fast forward to high school, Bol was already 6'10" his freshman year, but he was still very raw. While he didn't play much early, he still received Kevin Durant comparisons, and by his senior year, after moving all over the country, he was a top 5 player in his class and made the McDonald's All-American game. Stunt number 1, lacking a competitive nature. The first growth stunt I see in Bol Bol is he isn't always into the game mentally and lacks a will to dominate like he should. Where I think that hurt him most was when he finally got to the NBA. In high school and even in college, he could still get away with not having the right temperament to suit his potential because he was taller than everyone else and chose programs that could give him star player opportunity to showcase his skills. There's no question he works on his game, as you can't be what he was in high school and his single year in college, where he averaged over 20 points a game, almost 10 rebounds, and 52% from 3 at 7'2". The thing about the NBA though is there's many players that can match up to him physically in either height or strength enough to just go through a frame like Bol's. What allows you to compete against that all lies in what you have mentally to force yourself to adjust and get to a level your height and talent could shine. He's always had an expressionless demeanor about him, but since college, small signs would show that his intensity was lacking just a bit, and he didn't get much of a chance to develop that due to missing all but 9 games in his only season. In those 9 games, Bol was special. By his second game, he ended with 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks. 2 games later, 4 blocks again to go along with 26 points and 9 rebounds. He had a career-high 32 points and 11 rebounds by Game 6 and looked like the top 3 pick he was projected to be all along. Bol was playing well and scored 20 points in the last 5 of 6 games he played in before injuring his foot in another 20.9 rebound, 4 block night against San Diego. As soon as he got to the NBA Ocean, he found he couldn't dominate the Sharks off height and talent alone and didn't have the development of his competitive nature to guide him through. Stunt number 2, the way teams have been using him. This growth stunt I don't think is all on Bol Bol. I just think teams aren't using him the right way that benefits his demeanor and unordinary skill set for his height. A small part of me wants to think discrimination can also be playing a role in the respect or lack thereof Bol gets now as a player. I'll use next year's projected first overall pick Victor Wembanyama as an example. If Bol was a young Frenchman with similar skills, if not less than Bol Bol, would he have slipped to the second round and not yet been given an opportunity in the league? I understand that Bol hasn't been healthy enough to capitalize on his opportunities when they arose, but I don't think teams are paying much attention to the second round pick enough to help that process either. Bol is soft, let's just say it, but that's nothing confidence can't change, and he doesn't necessarily need to play inside as much anyway, like how many are expecting him to be used because of his height. To me, Bol is not a center or much of a power forward. I really believe Bol with the right attention could be a unicorn small forward in the NBA with his ball handling, shooting, and ability to get hot and score in bunches. Over time, his inside game can develop, again with the confidence placed in him by his team. But teams aren't even thinking of using him in this way, and yes, availability has slowed him down from proving that. Hopefully he can find a niche in Orlando and develop his confidence on that team, because it would be sad to see the league miss on a talent like his because he's misunderstood. Stunt number 3, the injuries. We've alluded to it through the story, but it's been the biggest reason he isn't playing up to his potential. Since high school and being selected but not able to play in the McDonald's All-American game due to injury, Bol has fell steps behind where he should be by now. He's only played 9 games in college as well, missing crucial end-of-season competition that gets a player ready for a level like the NBA and also boosts his draft stock so that he becomes a team's focus being drafted in the first round for at least the first 4 years. Because he had such an extensive injury history, by draft night, he fell to the second round and wound up on a team like the Denver Nuggets, who really didn't need his contributions and already in mode to win it all with or without him. This caused his play to seem like a bust in the league to other teams, and being injured couldn't save him. He was supposed to play for the Pistons, but the trade was voided because he failed his physical. He had another foot surgery days later and was traded again to the Magic. At his size, multiple injuries and surgeries do not encourage teams to increase his opportunity. Hopefully, he comes back 100% healthy and can play extensive games since the most he's played was 32 in 2021. All in all, like I said, I don't think Bol is done or a bust just yet. But this is a huge season for him where hopefully he's used in a different way, adds some strength and toughness to him and can stay healthy. If not, this could be the end. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.